Good evening. Anyways, good evening. It's the second day of April 2020, and I have been watching a couple police slash action dramas earlier, and I watched a documentary with a series with it Generals at War. That earlier today, I watched there's some TV programs appropriate for uh, preschool age children. Like Peter Rabbit and Friends. Was it the Blues Clues? Go Diego, Go, Dora the Explorer, Max and Ruby, and this afternoon, one of my church friends has taken me out grocery shopping at the Walmart. She also took me to the post office to mail, is it to mail my cell phone bill payment. So that is taken care of until the next month. Well, or actually, really, the end of this month. So that is done. And I've also was it earlier this evening. I spent time quietly sitting here on my kitchen floor. As it uh, in just my t-shirt, adult incontinence product, and adult plastic pants for incontinence. And I quietly played for a while with some of my baby toys, for a while. Yes, I am, as I've said before, I am a what is known as a little, or was it adult baby? Was it, was it, in my case, being an adult baby slash little was caused by me being, was it, profoundly neglected in my real early childhood many decades ago at the hands of my late mother, who was psychotic and severely mentally ill. It's a way for me to take and just simply have a kind of a happy childhood that I did not really have in many ways. That I don't does it uh, bother anybody. As that I just simply quietly regress alone by myself. Here in my own home and in my kitchen. As it I sit on the floor and I crawl on all fours like a that I use the term rug rat from the old was it Nickelodeon channel cartoon. Well, of course, was that I also have was it my adult life, that where I do many adult things, that I do my own cooking, my own house chores, plus I also tinker with electronics, and that instead of where I have my electronic equipment, or at least with the three of my pieces of electronic test equipment, out, that I use the roll around cart that's usually for food preparation, but I have it set up as my workbench. So I have a little mini electronics tinkering slash test bench here in my kitchen, where I can just simply plug my test equipment into the one of the wall outlets here in my kitchen, and just with it fire up my equipment, put together circuits, and just simply with it uh, tinker with different aspects of electronics. Oh, good evening, Jack. I am doing okay, as it considering that I've lost, that I tragically lost my younger brother at a, that, uh, that at the he passed away at the age of 57 a couple of weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. As far as this was it, COVID-19 coronavirus was it pandemic. It was that I am coping with the lockdown because I am used to being alone by myself as a person on the autism spectrum. That I was it. That I have my specific routines that I do each and every day. That do not vary, and the only with the thing that day the variance in my routines is on Sundays when I usually go to church, but because of the COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic, my church has had to go to online online with a televangelism, to reach everybody, with it in the church. Oh, what does an average day look like for you? Well, the first thing I do, in the mornings, with it, I get up, with it, uh, with it, with it, I get up and I take off my wet and dirty, was it, nighttime incontinence, was it, uh, was it, uh, was it diaper, was it, and of course my plastic pants, and was it next to my bed, I have an adult-sized plastic pail potty chair, that's for an adult, tubular steel frame, with it has the potty seat, with it and the plastic pail underneath, and I will sit, with it and sit for a while, with it poop, with it and will poop and wipe, and while I read one of my books on science or history or whatever, Then I'll go take then I'll was it hobble into my bathroom, which is of course handicapped accessible, and using my quad folding walker, which is equipped. It has wheels in the front and glider slides in the back. Of course, I take the plastic pail from my potty chair. Now, was it dump it out into the toilet? Then I will take my daily shower. My shower is a walk-in shower in my bathroom, and it is equipped with built-in bench seats. On either side. With it, and I can take it with it. Get in, get into my shower, sit, shower, and clean myself. With it, clean myself up well. Then I can, with it, of course, I have my quad folding walker with it frame. With it, just outside the shower with it, the glass shower doors. With it, so that when I can finish my shower, I do not spend a lot of time in the shower because I try to be efficient and not use too much water, to save on my water bill. And I will uh, push myself up the stand. Then I was it sit on my toilet, which my toilet has side safety rails on it, that help me to take and push up and to lower myself down onto the toilet seat. And of course, but the toilet seat I have is a raised toilet seat, for disability. Makes it easier for me to get on, lower myself onto and get up off the toilet. I dry myself off, of course. Then with it in my bathroom, with it cross like within reach, I have clean packages of clean, dry adult diapers. And I was at, hi Kaylee, welcome to my, was it uh, Thursday, or was it April 2nd live stream? And what I do, well, anyways, I was at grab one of my diapers, unfold it, then uh, I will just with it put it on. Put my diaper on, with it, or at least tape the diaper up in such a way that I can pull it up. Well, use my quad walker to push myself up the stand, pull up my diaper, and then put on a clean pair of plastic pants, because I am incontinent, both number one and number two. Well, anyways, Kaylee, well, just to answer your question, that I say I am doing fine, with it here today. And, with it, I was just saying earlier that one of my church friends took me out grocery shopping because I no longer drive a motor vehicle because of my eyesight, which has where I have double vision, Kaylee, where my left eye does not track correctly. Now, when I'm looking forward, my right eye is looking straight, but my left eye is looking off in that direction. Well, anyways, then I was to go back, hobble back into my bedroom, and get my pants on, clean pair of socks, and on in my sneakers, and I'll grab a t-shirt out of my closet. Then I'll was it use my quad folding walker to hobble out here into my kitchen. That my bedroom's o- my bedroom is over that way, of course, the front end of my modest mobile home, which I've inherited from from my late brother who passed. Whom I said was it another program that the other day that he passed away with it uh, from having a massive heart attack. Well, anyways, with it physical cerebral palsy is my physical disability, but autism is my cognitive disability, and I have issues with cognitive sensory processing, processing speech. With my mind. That even though I can hear pretty good. With it difficulty with was it processing other people's speech, especially with the letter R sounds. Plus, also I have with it, it's like was it uh, loud, very loud noises like was it fire engines, ambulances, police cars. That uh, those noises was it cause sensory overload for me. Plus, also I experience with it cognitive sensory overload if I stay too long in areas where there are crowds. That like in going shopping. That uh, because of the it's all the sights, the sounds. That I guess that if I stay too long and the places that have too much going on around me. That uh, kind of bothers me as a person on the autism spectrum. Plus, I'm also was it highly rigid in my daily routines. I do not like was it I do not tolerate changes in routines unless I am was it told beforehand that there's going to be a change to my routine. And it was a major change to my routine. When I watched my younger brother Nate, whom I still, even though he's gone, I still love very much. That uh, he he collapsed on the front walkway. As it just outside right here at the foot of the steps of my deck. And I had to and within and within was it uh, within 60 seconds, that of him collapsing, I was on the phone with the 911 to get the EMTs and the ambulance and EMTs with it, the Derry Fire Department. This is back on the 16th. That because that day my brother was going to take me out grocery shopping and take me to the pharmacy to get medicines that I needed. But that was a major change. It will daily change in a single day. But that I am adjusting to to living on my own and completely, the living by myself and taking care of myself. I have always taken care of myself because as a adult child of a profoundly mentally ill and psychotic mother who never received treatment while the proper treatment while she was alive, that in childhood, despite my milder form of cerebral palsy and mild autism, which they now call uh, used to be called Asperger's syndrome. It is now called autism functional level 1. And since I use walking aids most of the time, I'm now classified as cerebral palsy functional level 3. That when I was younger, I was like a functional level 2 with respect to my gross motor function. That with my legs. That, but I've dropped down a little bit. Because of the issue is post impairment syndrome and aging. That everybody goes through the aging process, even persons with cerebral palsy and autism. Now, even though I'm verbal now, there are times when I am not verbal as a person on the autism spectrum, and that I will. I've got my my Amazon Fire, was it Android operating system tablet, was it Velcro to the side of my refrigerator, and I use that as a TV monitor to watch Pluto TV, to watch the news or watch documentaries or watch cartoons, that, or Japanese anime, that, and so that I have a notepad, with a software program on it, which if you push one of the functions, it converts the text to audible speech, so it reads out what you type in, and I could use that as a adaptive augmented communication device, you know, which is handy if I have periods of time when I am when I'm non-verbal or minimally verbal. That many that people think that with uh, a person on the upper end of the autism spectrum doesn't seem to be very impaired. Not true. Not true at all. We just was it as that I have periods of time where I am very much like an severely autistic man, or woman who just sits on the floor and or in a chair and self rocks and hand flaps and just with it makes noises and just was it uh, was it uh, and just was it wets and messes himself. of course, was that I have neurogenic bladder and bowels. So was it part of my cerebral palsy, and also part of my the aging of my is it my urogenital anatomy? As a male, is it the parts of my body that make number three? You know, and was it? Uh, I will say that I was it. Uh, yeah, that uh, I am happy living here. My brother Nate, the 2 years ago, he specifically bought this was it manufactured mobile home, that is in a extremely safe neighborhood, is it here near the historic farm, farmhouse of American poet Robert Frost, because he wanted for me to have a place to live if anything ever happened to him, which of course has happened, a little over 2 weeks ago. When when my brother Nate collapsed and died, and when they got him to the hospital, 2 weeks ago, was it he he was declared dead on arrival, and the hospital is only like my community hospital here in Derry, New Hampshire, the Parkland Medical Center Hospital, is only 1.3 miles north on Route 28 here from where I live. Even though it was that close, that there wasn't enough time to save him, my brother, and in a way, I am mourning him. But with this, I will note that with this COVID-19 computer virus, is it? Yes, my brother Nate's body has been cremated, earlier this week, but I'm still waiting for whether to get a copy of his death certificate, because the funeral home has to take and make it out and send it to the state of New Hampshire, and also send a copy to the town of Derry, because then once I get the death certificate, I can finish with signing off some legal paperwork to send to my lawyer, to my attorney, who was of course my brother's attorney. So that way I can, was it be made the executor, was it made the final executor of my brother's estate, that was it because despite my disabilities, I am mentally competent to take care of my own affairs and to be independent in adulthood as a 62-year-old senior citizen. Here's something interesting. I will note that many people with cerebral palsy I know of have birthdays in the month of March. My birthday was on the 6th of March. That uh, my younger cousin Heather Campbell, she is 20 years younger than me. She just turned 42 last month in March. She has cerebral palsy and a more severe form of autism and is nonverbal. And then there's was it my two high school classmates, Paul Stoll and his older brother Bill. that both of them were born with cerebral palsy. That I went to was it uh, that I went to was it elementary school, junior high, and high school. That plus there are a few others, that I know of were March birthdays, March birthdays. Of course, Kaylee, I will tell you that what caused me being with it having a mild spastic diplegia, that only affects my legs. Is it is I was born 100% feet first back in 1958. Yes, I totally came out backwards. That and my dad said with it that when he took one look at me after I was born with it, he said I looked like was it a I looked like a like I'd been in a fist fight. That yeah that so essentially uh, I got uh, I got brain damage from a little bit of oxygen deprivation, and also was it uh, be coming out, well, having to be yanked out feet first, that after an attempt to with it flip me around the right way, with it inside my mom, the day I was born, and was it when I was born, it was it my mother had an extremely difficult. I've already had my Hi Sean, I've already had my birthday. Was it uh, last month, and was it uh, on my birthday? My brother Nate was it took me to the lobster claw with the lobster claw two was it seafood a seafood restaurant here in that to have a nice seafood dinner. And my brother Nate also had taken me up to the Barnes and Noble bookstore. That's one of my favorite haunts. Oh, Kaylee, I was born at about 6 pounds full term, but as it uh, as I was born with a 6 pounds full term. That when I was born, a little a little bit a little bit underweight. As it but within the so-called normal range. But as I've said, I came out 100% backwards, and that's what damaged my brain. That, and of course, I will note, that. Oh, Sean asked me, with it, do I like superheroes? Yes, I do. My favorite superheroes was it, of course, watching the old original. Well, I've seen the old original Superman cartoons. That uh, the old 1940s version. I used to have was it till my brother Nate had taken traded in at the Bull Moose Music. That for cash, and was I had a DVD of was it the 1940s early 1940s movie serial of Batman and Robin. Which was I've also was it. Uh, I also have season one of the Adventures of Superman, starring George Reeves as Superman. I've seen some of the Marvel superheroes. Was it? I like Iron Man and I like Captain America. Of course, when I was a kid, I watched they had the Iron Man and Captain America and the Avengers on TV, cartoons on TV. So I grew up on was it the the old was it on the old Marvel superheroes. I haven't seen I haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet. That I'm trying to look for it, and whether the whenever I get to the Wally Mart to look through the dollar piles. Well, what caused it, that it's a way for me to cope with it having post traumatic severe childhood abuse, post traumatic stress disorder. That is why I regress to being a little or an adult baby. That many of my friends in the autism community who are who are also with it littles littles or adult babies, have been severely abused in childhood, especially early childhood. At a time when they're supposed to be nurtured and loved and so forth, so on. That, but it's that in a way, that it has kept me sane, regressing to babyhood and playing with my baby toys. That and having plush cuddle friends. I have some of these. That and I have a big teddy bear in my bedroom that I sleep with every day, every night time, and at nap times to chase away bad dreams. That uh, whether it's better than whether was it self medicating with booze or dope. That which will really destroy a person. That so that uh, well, anyways, that uh, I don't bother anybody. I don't hurt anybody. I just was it. Earlier this evening, I was sitting on my floor, kitchen floor, and quietly playing with the. I have three plastic baskets with baby toys, like was it like a pull toy airplane, Fisher Price chatter phone, activity cube. Fisher Price was it the little people vehicles, and some other toys, like a roll around rattle ball. That. And I will admit that I do love watching. I will watch online sometimes. This. Oh, I also have was it uh, other toys like I have the plastic army men. I've got a big was it I've got a big was it I got a tote was it carrier of plastic army men. I also have was it two was it tote bags of Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. Kaylee. That uh, that I'll was it dump out onto the kitchen floor here, and I'll or my bedroom floor, and I'll play with them. So I also have an attache case, an old leather attache case with leather clad attache case that has my collection of Nerf toy toy pistols, Nerf toy guns, and Nerf toy guns off here in the house, which is fun. Of course, with it my adult side, self, with it, as I said, I tinker with electronics. My former career. Let me try to uh, turn my uh, where's the roll around cart? Sorry, my walker's over there. You can see it by there next to the sink. But that I have the kitchen roll around cart, which has my electronics, some of my electronic test equipment. So my other electronic test equipment is sitting on my desk in my bedroom. I'll eventually take that out, especially my Hewlett Packard DC to 500 megahertz with a 68 channel digital logic analyzer, which is a $20,000 piece of equipment. That some electronics company, uh, was it heaved in a dumpster. It was still almost brand new in the box, or was it gently used? So I've got a nice. That's my best piece of electronic test equipment. I have like 3 oscilloscopes. Oh, Kaylee's asked me with it, do I play video games? And I'll just simply say, yes, I do. I'm sorry, I do not have a fancy modern video game machine. The only thing I have right now set up, hooked up to my small high definition television, that which is sitting on the top of my writing desk here in the kitchen. I use this as my entertainment center, and of course my computer desk. I have a red Atari flashback. Was it uh, one of those cheapy $30 was it video game machines that has the 60 of the old Atari video games was it on it, that in non-volatile memory, in the read-only memory, of course, to with it play. That I play. I like playing with it. Uh, with it, Missile Command, Asteroids, and Centipede, and some of the other games too. With it. Yeah, but I was first introduced to Missile Command and Asteroids via the old big, huge video game machines, arcade machines, that the Wentworth Institute was at Student Commons was an area had a had a game room that had the that had missile command and asteroids. You know, the big huge consoles. You know, and that was they were really fun to play. You know, this was when they were first come when they were first out. That uh, when Atari was pretty much a brand new company. And of course, Atari doesn't really exist anymore. That they went down the toilet, especially when they couldn't keep up with the more modern video game machines. That coming out of Japan from like Sega and the Sega and the Nintendo. I do want to get myself one of those retro Nintendo machines. That's with all the original versions of Sonic the Hedgehog and some of the other ones. From that early era. To play here at my desk. And I will note that I also uh, have my Sony, my cheap Sony with a uh, DVD Blu-ray player. There's also internet connected, but I got to reset it back up again for the internet connection. Because not sure why. I have a strange feeling that that some of these was it the players like Tubi and Hulu doesn't support it. Is it anymore? That Hulu doesn't support the device. Tubi and Pluto, I think, might still support the device. For the online streaming of TV shows and movies and whatever. But as I watch with it, different DVDs and the Blu-ray discs I have quite a bit of Star Trek on DVD, and I've got the last season of Tom Baker as Doctor Who on Blu-ray disc in a box set. I do have the entire series of Star Trek Discovery so far. Yeah, and I'm gonna wait until Star Trek Picard season one comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. Because I want to get that because I was only able to see the Star Trek Picard. Only the first episode. Only the first episode. The pilot episode. That when it was when it was on as a freebie. On some of the different channels. But anyway, bye, Kaylee. Is get your homework done. That. Well, I'll note that right now it's 4 minutes to 10 p.m. right now. Not sure where you are. That uh, sounds like you're with it. Sounds like you're with it behind me time wise. That. Of course, I'm in the Eastern time zone, and was it. That. Uh, here in the U. Here in Derry, New Hampshire, and but I've got friends with Asperger's autism over in down under, within just outside of Brisbane in Australia, and also outside of Perth. Also, actually in Perth, just still two different time zones, but they're ahead of me. Uh, oh, as I said, was that I do play video games. I've got the Atari flashback to play all the old original with it Atari games. You know, uh, on my using my high definition TV as the video monitor. The way I have my desk set up, that I have the my computer here is in front of me, my laptop computer. As I use my Android tablet, as it has a Amazon Fire was a tablet as a hmm, interesting. I would like to eventually with. I wish I had a more modern machine where I could play something like play something like Halo Halo Wars with it. Uh, with it something like that. With it something more modern. That. Oh, and I'll also note that I do still like to play old-fashioned board games. I have seen the that are all online. As it there's this with it Star Trek. Was it uh, Star Trek Online? There were different aspects of it. With it there was some. That one thing I do not have, or I'm not sure if I still have it, but I do have a USB with it game controller. With it that I could plug into my computer. I'll have to look for it. It's probably in my closet in one of my storage bins. That I haven't really gone through since I moved here a couple years ago. Yeah, because one thing I used to take and do was it, but I haven't been able to take and do it because I no longer drive. I no longer drive, so I can't get out on my own. There is a in the in Nashua in in Nashua, New Hampshire. Was it uh, just west of me? Is it uh, they once a month the Nashua Robot Builders Club meets, and they that to have once a month meetings on the third Sunday of every month. Is it at the Make It Labs Makerspace? right off of Route 111 in downtown Nashua. But of course, I guess was it the meetings have been suspended because of the coronavirus epidemic. That I used to go to those. With it and just to be around other was it uh, techie geeks. Like myself. That and quite some of the guys there, the Robot Builders Club in Nashua. Into a little more advanced robotics than me. That my idea of robotics, simple things like, that like a robot that'll just roll around, that sense an object, obstacle, do a 180, go the other direction, maybe go left or right, then with it go forward, with it sense another obstacle with it to turn around, do something like that. But some of the other people there, at the Robot Builders Club, were into the advanced, they do the advanced robotics with it, uh, with autonomous robotics, where they even have was it uh, one guy has actually hacked into the iRobot Roomba and actually with it fitted it with a complete was it uh, machine vision system. You know that uh, turned the robot the iRobot vacuum cleaner into a totally autonomous was it uh, seeker robot. And another one of the members there, that I liked, be with, that a younger man, that young adult man, that whose father's into with it is into engineering, who was it was was into was it uh, advanced 3D printing, straight from was it uh, CAD drawing straight to the actual was it straight to the actual mechanical part. Of course, I've always been interested in robots and robotics. The last job I ever had, friends, is that I worked for a company called Brooks Automation in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. And what I did there, hi Ty, glad you're here. That uh, I was just about to say that I was working at Brooks Automation in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. I didn't work on the production floor, in the clean rooms. But what I did, I was up in the second floor in the design engineering department, where I worked as a senior electronic engineering design development technician, where the electrical engineers was it uh, mechanical engineers would give me drawings, with it. Here, put this like like sensor actuators assembly together, see if you can make it work, or put together this was a wiring diagram, to then that flesh out what is needed for was it uh, cables and interconnects and so forth, so on. And I designed the cabling internal, external cables and internets, to connect all the different parts of the machine together, and to connect the machine to the outside world. And the machines that the Brooks Automation made were silicon wafer handle robots that would with it had an flat end effector that would with it go underneath the silicon wafer, pick it up, move it around inside a vacuum chamber or at atmospheric pressure in a clean room from one engine from one semiconductor manufacturing process step to another to make the integrated circuits which go into everything from this laptop computer that I'm was it that live streaming on to my cell phone to my Android tablet. Also, was it to the all the stuff that goes into with it, uh, everything from refrigerators to stoves to automobiles, and also, of course, medical equipment, which is very badly needed right now with this COVID-19 that uh, virus epidemic. Oh, anyways, I'm looking at the time, and I'm gonna have to with it. I really need to sign off because I gotta take my medicine, then I gotta take some time to take and unload my dishwasher of all my clean dishes and put them away, before bedtime, and also switch to watching some decent old documentaries online of from the BBC, like documentaries that I like, that a really great documentary series that you should watch. It's all about astronomy. Is BBC's The Sky at Night. It has been on since 1957. That first was it uh, hosted by Sir Patrick Moore, and now by Professor Chris Lintott and Dr. Maggie Adarin Pocock. That were also with it academic professors. So was it I like watching that. That because one of my special interests is backyard astronomy, and of course it's cloudy right now, so that can't go outside, and it's also a little too cold. Because it's that I'm not as tolerant of cold as I used to be. As I said, I gotta sign off, take my medicine, and yes, it's time for the Vulcan salute. Peace and long life. Live long and prosper, friends.